Happy Monday, everyone, and happy, I think it's President's Day, right?
It is.
Yes, and our good friend Larry Kidd is here and our guest on the program today, and we're going to be talking about, well, many, many different things, and we look forward to it. Obviously, the business that you own, and you are running for office. Have you lost your mind?
Maybe I have.
He's lost his mind. He is running for office, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, too. And talk about higher, reliable staffing and some of the things that you are doing here in the community, which is a lot. And so we look forward to talking with our friend Larry. And Adrian tells me, though, that we have a message because to be able to be here, we have to pay bills. You know how that goes.
I know how that goes.
We are going to have a message, and then we will be back and talk with Larry in just a moment. So we shall be right back. Stay tuned.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right, and we are back with Larry Kidd. And Larry, welcome. I think it's been a while since you've been here.
And thank you for having me, Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so happy that you came out and are spending your President's Day with us.
Absolutely. It's an important day.
It is an important day. So let's talk for a little bit about reliable staffing, hire, and kind of one and the same, but how did that come to be? I mean, you've been doing that for quite some time now, and it's very, very integral in our community, and maybe people don't know about it, though.
Well, thanks for asking. I'll tell you how I got there, which was actually from other companies. So when we came back to Jackson, Cindy and I were living in Florida, and she just didn't like it. It was just too busy. She was a farm girl that grew up in Oklahoma. So we moved back, and I was in international distribution and thought, when I started interviewing, it'd probably end up in Chicago, maybe Columbus, but certainly not in Jackson.
But you did grow up here.
I did grow up here. I grew up and went to Miami and then was gone for about 15 years, met Cindy in Memphis. I bought a dog. I was transferred there and took it in, and she was a veterinarian doing her preceptorship.
Wait, stop. That's how you guys, I never knew
how we
that.
met, yeah.
So if you don't know, Larry's wife is Cindy Kidd, who is Mount Zion Animal Clinic
Correct,
here in Jackson, the veterinarian.
Right.
So you met her through her work.
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
You know, I figured I didn't know anybody in Memphis, and I figured, a good way to meet people is to have a dog because everybody loves animals.
Sure.
So I went to a mall, I bought a dog, and you got a free visit to the veterinarian clinic just to check it out. So I did, and I went in, and she says, well, you need to do this and this and this. Well, I really like this girl, so I kept calling her and said, hey, my dog has a cough. It didn't. And what should I do? And she said, well, come back in. So I did, and I did probably 2 or 3 visits, and I asked her up for a cup of coffee, and she says, well, I can't because I'm doing my preceptorship, which is like an internship.
Okay.
And I'm only here for 6 or 8 weeks. But I have to work 24/7. She was even living at the clinic. They had an apartment there so she could do all the call work. And
Wait, do you think she was on to you?
No, I don't know. Because
I love this story.
as we
This is
continue
so
the
good.
story, you'll see why. And probably, but wasn't so sure. So anyway, I said, look, would you like to go out for a cup of coffee? And she says, I can't. I will when I come back after I take my exams. I said, okay, that's great. So she goes back to Oklahoma, takes her exams, comes back. I make another appointment, and she sees me, but she leaves the room and says, I need to check on something. And all of a sudden, all these doctors coming in one by one. It was a big practice, like 6 doctors. And they were checking on me, and I thought, this is the nicest clinic ever. And then she says, yeah, I'll go out with you. And then we went out. We ended up going out forever and ended up getting married. But the funny thing is, I found out later, she was sending these doctors in to make sure that I wasn't one of those weirdos that was, she's going to be found someplace out in the middle of nowhere. And
great.
so I must have passed the sniff test. And
Evidently.
so we had the dog first. Her name was Molly, and then we had Carly in Memphis, and then I got transferred to Miami, Florida.
Carly's not a dog. Carly's
Carly
a daughter.
is our daughter. She's our
Who's
oldest son.
fantastic, by the
Yes.
way.
And then we moved to Florida and had Alex. In fact, Carly was only 3 months old when we had her, and she was probably had as many frequent flyer miles as many people. But we had Alex pretty quickly in Florida. And then Cindy just was not happy with Florida. It was just too busy. We were in Miami.
Oh, gosh.
It was beautiful, but she grew up in Oklahoma and loved the farm. And she says, look, can we go to my parents or your parents? Because we need some support with, she was
With the
still
kids.
working. Yeah,
For
and she was
sure.
still working as a veterinarian. And I said, sure. And as I mentioned, I thought I was going to be in Chicago or Columbus, maybe Cincinnati. And I got an offer from Louis Gino's. And it was amazing.
Go figure.
So I was, came in as a director of purchasing. Part of my department's responsibility was buying outside warehouse space, but raw materials and other things. So I saw an opportunity where we could reduce our carrying costs for inventory and do some other things. So I asked a warehouse company to build the facility. And they said, Larry, you're crazy. It's Jackson, Ohio. There's only 5,000 people there. And if this doesn't work out, we're not going to have anybody to rent the building to. I said, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. So Alan actually built the building.
Okay.
And I end up asking my vendors to put their products in their facility.
Yeah.
So this did several things. It reduced our inventory carrying costs at Louis Gino's. It opened up floor space because we didn't have to store the product, so we could put more production lines in.
Sure, absolutely.
And it ended up, the warehouse company ended up having instant customers, and they employed about 15 people, which was great for the community. And it helped the vendors because at the end of the day, we were turning products away because we didn't have enough room to take them at Louis Gino's. Even though we ordered them, things happen, and we'd have to turn the trucks away.
You have to store. I mean, you have to have room to put the things.
Yeah. So it was a win-win for everybody. So I later bought that company and expanded it throughout Ohio. I had 2 partners, and pretty soon we were in Cleveland, Columbus, Cleveland, Columbus, Jackson. I bought the building next to it that was an old spec building that Department of Energy put together when the atomic plant was starting. I think they built 5 of them in 5 counties, and this is the one they built in Jackson. And then I connected them with that corridor.
And these buildings they're out behind, like Callahan, kind of out by Callahan Hardware.
Right.
Like
so
out
we
there.
were there right after Callahan. So Callahan was there first, and then we built the warehouses next.
Okay.
The first one was about $65,000. The next one was about $50,000. So I connected them and bought it from the city, and it worked out really well. We had a lot of people. And later, I bought a manufacturing company in Amish country because I wanted to diversify our portfolio. And we did a lot of work with ConAgra, the big food company.
Sure.
And shortly after we bought it, I'm looking at our labor, and I'm thinking, we have a serious problem here. We had 100 temporary workers with 9 staffing firms and turnover about 50 to 60% every single week, Jennifer.
Oh my gosh.
So we would lose 50 people a week. And
That's insane.
And I went to our management staff and I said, this isn't going to work. We got to do something. So we created our own staffing company. And it's funny because Melissa was with us. She helped me start it up. We had a management team, of course.
Another horse girl.
Another horse
what is
girl.
it with you surrounding yourself with these horse girls?
No. Just fall into it. We can talk about that
Yeah,
in a
we
minute.
can.
So we ended up starting the staffing firm and ended up growing it so much because we understood what our clients needed. We were a user of it. And
Sure.
So manufacturing companies, warehouse companies, we picked up Mills Pride when they were going great guns. Pretty soon we ended up selling the other businesses and became one of the fastest growing companies in the United States by 5,000.
Wow.
And
Right here in
that
little
happened,
Jackson, Ohio.
Happened 2 years in a row. And then I saw an opportunity where, these folks, they were small businesses like single person offices or nonprofits or, just people that were just starting up, could use space But they didn't want to pay for it because they didn't use it every day, like a boardroom and a conference room and event center and a workout room. So
Sure.
I bought the Job and Family Service building.
Yep.
I bought it from Holzer, and we end up converting it, and now we have 20 clients. Hundreds of people coming in every day.
I love what you did there because you were doing co-working space before co-working space was cool.
Yeah, in Jackson. Yeah, that's true.
Like literally. Yeah. And now it's the thing, but you had such a vision, and that is the Office Commons.
Right. So we have the Office Commons, and during COVID, we recognized that people wanted to be outside, so we expanded it, kind of like what you guys did with Six Sense, and have an outdoor area that we have a grill, we have a fireplace, and then little event center. So people can go out for lunch, but we do a lot of events, smaller events. Of course, Parks Edge is the big event center in Jackson.
Oh yes, of course.
And but if they need something with somewhere between 10 and 50 people, ours is a little more intimate. It's a good alternative to Parks Edge. And we do wedding showers and baby showers and birthday parties. And
all the fun stuff, right?
Some people even do their Christmas dinners there, and they'll bring their families. So it works out really well, and we're really happy with it. But over the years, we had different renditions of reliable staffing services. It's funny because when I did this, I did it, I don't want to say on a whim. We thought about it for a while. And I went to Melissa and I said, I need a logo and I need a name. And she says, okay, when you need it by? It was Thursday, Monday.
By tomorrow.
Said, okay. So she ended up coming up with this. Let me see if I can. This isn't one of the originals, but if you can, and you probably can't see that. Anyway, it's got
Adrian can use our expensive Zoom, which means he can hold it in front of the camera.
You can just that one. So they had the kind of the bubbles, which shows the positive trajectory, of where we were going to be. And originally it was reliable staffing services. It was hard to remember, and our clients end up just shortening it to RSS. And for years we were RSS, but our domain was reliablestaffingservices.com. And when you try typing an email like that, if they're sending me an LKit at Reliable Staffing, there's always a mistake. Even I made mistakes when I was sending emails.
Yes.
So it's funny, Jennifer, because we went back and forth, and there ended up being a Reliable Staffing Resources in Columbus. And when we started entering the Columbus market, we were competing directly against them, and people would get confused.
And you basically have the same name.
Essentially. And so I said, look, we can do one or two things. We can spend a ton of money trying to compete against them, or we can just change our name. And in 2019, I'll never forget this, it was August. Yeah, 2019. We decided to go ahead to change our name. We hired a marketing firm, and we wanted to trademark it so nobody else could use it.
Sure.
And it took a long time. We went through probably, 150 names.
Oh, really?
With our attorneys, and they went back to the trademark in D.C. and agency and just say, okay, this is going to get approved, this is going to be, and there were no's. And we finally came up with Hire, and we were so proud of it.
Which is so obvious, right?
Was.
Like it's
But the problem was with Hire, you couldn't just use HIRE because that was already used. So what we did is we came up with the colon.
Aha.
Hire. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see it on my shirt.
Yep.
And we wanted to use tag names with that, like Think Hire, Achieve Hire, Aim Hire.
Sure.
So we came up with this name, and probably right around December of 2019. We were ready to launch it, and guess what happens? COVID.
The dreaded C word happened.
And it shut some of our business down. Not all of it, because we were doing food products and we were essential, but it did some of our business. And I thought, this is not the time to launch this.
Yeah.
So we put it on hold. And by April, I was getting squirrely, and I'm like, let's do it anyway, because we don't know how long this is going to last.
Listen, no one had a playbook for it.
Nobody had a playbook.
Oh my gosh. I don't even, it just, PTSD to this day,
No
like
kidding.
everybody. Not good.
You know, it'll be interesting to see what the next generations think about COVID because they've never experienced it. I mean, it's unlike anything we've ever been through.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's horrible, but
it was a bad deal.
So about April, you know, we did this and we launched it with our marketing firm that we had hired back in August. And we thought, how are we going to get the name out? Because we can't go visit people.
Sure.
First off, nobody's going to see us anyway. And everything's on the phone. We put together the graphics. And I thought, you know what? And I'm reading the paper, not the traditional paper, the e-paper. And it's talking about how emissions are down in vehicles because nobody's driving.
Okay.
I thought, you know what would be cool? If we got a drawing for people that if they work so many hours, they get to put their name in a drawing, and then we would give something away. And I thought, I'm going to get an electric car. So I found an electric Fiat. It was used out in California. Mm-hmm. And I had it shipped into Ohio.
I remember. I'd forgotten about this. I remember it now. Yes.
And we had it wrapped with Hire
Yes.
all over it. And we, told people, our employees, drive it around so we could get some publicity.
Yep.
And we did this. And then they got their hours, and we put it in a hat. And then we did a drawing. And we did a big Facebook drawing. And it was in Columbus. But during that time, several people had driven it. And what I didn't realize, it only had a 100-mile range. Why you would have a car with 100 miles, I don't know.
I mean, you can barely drive to Chillicothe and back.
Well, and Melissa had been towed twice because she got caught with not being able to get there. But it worked out. So we end up having this drawing. And our marketing person calls the person and says, okay, this is the winner. We put it on Facebook. Hey, the winner is so-and-so. And she calls him and he says, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, he didn't come in as Hire. He came at Reliable Staffing Services. So he never heard anything about Hire. She calls him again. And he says, look, I'm not want to play these games. Just please leave me alone. She calls him a third time. And the wife,
I'm trying to give you a car, dude.
And the wife calls and says, if you keep calling me, her name was, or she was our marketing person. And she says, if you do this again, we're going to call the police. She comes down to my office. She says, I don't know what to do. I can't give away this car. I said, can I make the call? And she says, absolutely. So I called the guy. I did connect. And I said, look, this is for real. If you don't want it, just sign a release. We'll give it to somebody else. He says, really? I said, yes, and this is the value. If you want it, we just ask you to come get it, and we can take a picture. That's all we want. We'll give you the keys. It's completely yours. We'll sign it over to you.
He's thinking, you're full. You're full of it.
I couldn't even give away a car during COVID. It was embarrassing. But he has it. He goes, well, I already have a bunch of cars. A lot of them don't run, so I'll take it. And just don't go over 100 miles.
Yeah, right. You can only just go to the store and back.
So it was interesting. It was fun, and we've been in business 20 years. So we've had
time flies.
It does. We've had a good time with it, and Jennifer, one of the beauties of what we do is the heartfelt stories. When you get somebody a job, it can be life changing. It truly
Absolutely.
can. And I was thinking about this as we were moving forward in our 20-year anniversary, and I talked to Melissa. What are some of the stories you've seen? And she says, I'll never forget. I had this couple, man and a woman. They were married, and we got them a job, and we asked them to come in, and they were bawling, both of them, in tears. And she says, "Is everything okay? Did something happen?" And they said, "No. Now we get our kids back."
Oh, gosh.
Because we had lost our jobs and the courts took them away. And these are the kind of stories that we hear all the time, that people won't lose their car, or they can pay their rent or whatever. And we're a facilitator to help change lives. And it just feels so impactful when you can do that and you can see the results of what you're doing. And we're so proud of the work that our people do.
You should be. And it's so funny. We just got through Valentine's Day weekend, but I'm sitting here thinking to myself that you all are literally matchmakers.
Yeah. That's
like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Not like for romance, but like for life.
Yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit about the details of Hire and like how do you match people up, and who's a good candidate to come to you? And you literally match people with jobs.
Mm-hmm, we do.
And it takes all of the struggle for everybody, for the employer and the employee, out of it, because you all are the middleman that take care of that
Yeah.
and match them up.
And that's what we tell people. This is our core business. Somebody that's making widgets, that's what they do well. But they wouldn't necessarily be an expert in hiring people and finding the right fit. So
For sure.
we use all kinds of platforms. Over the years, we've employed probably close to 40,000 people. Because as a staffing firm, they're eligible to be hired. So they may have a very short time period with us. It could be a week. It could be 6 months. It could be 6 years. But they have that ability to be hired right away.
Yeah.
But, we'll use platforms. We'll use our internal systems and see. But a lot of it is through word of mouth. Because those are the people that are going to make recommendations to their friends and their family, and we know. And one thing that differentiates us from others is that we really, really dig in on the interviews to make sure this is a good fit. We feel that there's a job for everybody out there, but it may not be this job that we're currently advertising for. So what we do, I don't know if as a kid, and I tell our new people this, if you were a kid or you have kids and you have these cards you flip up and you try to get that match and then you flip it down, well, that's what we're doing. Because while this person may not work today, tomorrow that next job might come through, and you got to remember, okay, I remember this guy or gal, and I want to place them here. So we do work with large manufacturers, large warehouses, big names that you would recognize. Over the years, we've worked with Amazon, we've worked with Walmart's, Pepsi products, Coke. Last year, we moved into Texas. So we're in Fort Worth now.
Okay.
And that's because our client asked us to move with them. They said, we're expanding to Texas, and we want you to be part of that.
That's awesome.
And, we do things that either the client doesn't want to do, they don't have the resources to do it, or it just doesn't make sense for them, especially as small people that don't have human resource departments.
Right.
But even the big ones, because it gives an alternative, it gives them the flexibility to grow. And we can always find these people other jobs. So we have a project coming up. We need, to redo these 100,000 widgets that put them in boxes. Well, they don't want to just go hire somebody for 6 weeks. They'll hire us to do that for them.
Okay.
So it works out well.
Yeah. So are there particular jobs that you focus on? Or, do you have a plethora of different, customers that are looking for a plethora of different people?
We do work in all areas, but our primary focus is where we grew up, and that's warehousing, logistics,
Manufacturing.
And manufacturing.
Yeah.
So what
Okay.
we call light industrial. But with that said, if you remember in 2008 and 9, 10, when the economy kind of crashed, and a lot of people were, during that time, they got up to 99 weeks unemployment. We couldn't get people to go to work, similar to COVID.
Sure.
So we pivoted and formed another company called RSS Professional, which now we changed to Talent, because we want to make these really easy for people to remember. And that is a professional placement service. So we'll go find, talent like Jennifer that WLW wants her, and we'll go find you and bring you to them.
Okay.
Or, a CEO of a company that, wants to come, this other organization that has a like manufacturing type, we'll go find them and move them over there and help make those transitions. So that's been very successful. When people work for Reliable Staffing Services or now Hire, it's called DBA, Doing Business as Hire, they're our employees. So we pay the workers' compensation, we pay the unemployment, we pay the benefits, they get health care with us, they get 401k if they're with us long enough. But with RSS Professional or Talent, they actually are the employee of the client from day one. So
Okay,
they
so
actually
kind
hire
of two
them.
different concepts.
So they just pay us a fee for finding those individuals.
Gotcha.
And, we've done a lot of work downtown Columbus for law firms. We've done nonprofits. We've done financial institutions, healthcare. And but now we try to run lean. So we're really focused on the growth of hire. And we grew 28% last year. So it was busy. Yeah. And we expect to have similar growth this year.
So, and congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you.
So, if somebody's out there and they're listening to this today or tomorrow or whenever you would want to listen to it, and they say, you know what, I'm looking for a job. I want to come to hire and have them help me find a job. How does that process work?
Well, they can come in the facility, and we have the office commons, which we can take their information and have them fill out an application.
So you can just walk right in
Absolutely.
Office Commons?
Or Chillicothe or Columbus. We have a facility right behind Roosters in Chillicothe.
Oh, okay.
And we have an office in Grove City. It's off Broadway.
Gotcha.
Or they can go online, and it's just hire.com. So it's really easy to find. You can there's a place to fill out an application, and then we'll contact you and say, let's sit down and talk and figure out what you want to do and how much you want to make, and we'll see what we can find.
Okay. That seems pretty easy.
Yeah. We do background checks. We do drug tests because we're carrying.
As you should.
Yeah, the workers' comp, and we don't want somebody to get hurt. And, but yeah, it's pretty easy, and we try to make it as easy as possible.
And then on the employer, from that standpoint, I assume it's kind of the same. Someone just contacts you and says, I have a business and I'm looking for XYZ person, and can you help me find it?
Essentially it is, but it's a little more competitive on that side. There's over 200 staffing firms in Columbus.
Okay.
To give you an example. So we have people that are out calling on clients,
Gotcha.
Try to secure accounts, and we've done a pretty good job at being able to pick new accounts up. And we tend to find clients that we grow with. So I mentioned the one that has taken us to Texas. Their intent is to have us in Salt Lake by the end of 2026, beginning in 2027.
So it's been a great partnership,
Yeah,
it sounds like.
It's been wonderful. And we have another client that we have multiple locations throughout the country. And, it's our hope that we'll be in Atlanta and maybe some other cities and states that will allow us to grow there too. So, but yes, they too can go on. We have on our website. It has employers or clients, or employees or clients. So either one can click the box, and then it'll send us an email, and then we'll contact them.
Okay.
Try to make it as easy as possible.
Exactly. It's that. Listen, in today's world, anything that's easy is fantastic.
Yes, you're right. And
life is complicated.
And we really preach customer service because that's, as I mentioned, there's 200 staffing firms in Columbus. So we have to differentiate ourselves by going up and beyond, not only for our clients, but also the people that are looking for jobs.
And how do you do that?
Well,
What's
they can
the
get a hold of me
secret?
day or night. And, you can't call the $50 billion company and get their CEO or their president of the company, which is Melissa in our company.
Yes.
But we're very responsive. We are flexible. So if the client says, look, we love you, we want to do business, but we need to do this and this and this, and it might be slightly unusual. If it's legal, if it's ethical, and it makes sense, we'll do it.
I love that.
We'll figure out a way to make it happen. So we always used to preach to our people, let's don't say no. Let's say yes and try to figure out how we're going to do it.
Yeah, the answer is never no.
It's never no. Not if you're dealing with clients.
That's one thing same in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Like the answer's not. I guess there is a no here and there, but rarely.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
You got to keep them happy.
Yeah, for sure. I get that.
So I took a lot of this experience into my public service, and I served on the original Jobs Ohio board, which is the economic board.
Which is amazing.
And then later got involved with the One Ohio Recovery Foundation. It's the opiate distribution funds. And I'm passionate with that because we have such a problem in Appalachia with drug addiction.
Oh, you mean someone's admitting that?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and that's part of the problem, Jennifer, is there's such a stigma. And we need to overcome that because we can't address the problem if we don't talk about it.
and there is a problem, and let's just not say that there's not, because it's huge.
It is huge. And we need to find good recovery, but lasting solutions.
Yep.
And, we need to be empathetic to people, bring them back into the workforce, because at the end of the day, if they go through recovery, they have nothing if there's nothing there for them, they have to have hope. So giving them a job can be that hope.
I mean, like, I'm preaching from the top of the mountain, everything that you're saying right now. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, but we have to hold them accountable too. So it's that whole deal. And then I've been involved with the Ohio Chamber of Commerce. I was chairman of the Ohio Chamber, I love it because it helps give good ideas and policies to legislators. And I think that's important because they protect the small business, and small businesses are really the catalyst for, you're a small business owner, and, we do things that big businesses don't have to do because we don't have the resources. So I don't know about you.
You're a jack of all trades. I mean, really, you have to be.
And I tell people,
toilet fixer, the whole
exactly
9 yards. Like, yes.
So you're out there shoveling snow or cleaning toilets or whatever it takes to make the customer happy. And but when there's a regulation that comes through, it affects the small business. I don't know how many employees you have, but let's say you have 10 and it takes you 4 hours a week to do this compliance, you're taking a significant part of your labor out to do something that, a big company, they don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
And 65 to 70% of the people in the country are employed by small businesses. So,
but yet we're the ones that get picked on, I feel like, the most. Yes.
So you got to fight for everything that you get.
You do. That is so true.
You do. And you got to be scrappy. So.
And yes, all the things. Creative, scrappy is a good word.
And you had mentioned before, that's something that I'm looking at. 2 years ago, I ran for Congress. I wasn't successful, but I had a good third showing. Thank you, Jackson County. Thank you, Galia, for your
you did quite
support.
well for your first time, yeah.
And I found out when I was running, if you really want to affect change, you can do it more so at the state level. Because, Washington is Washington, and things just don't get done, at least not very fast. And today, I guess they're shutting down. But
shocker.
But at the state level, you can really have an impact. And I've been happy with my career. I've been happy with the things we've done, but I want to give back. And for me, it's not about getting my name out there in the paper. It's certainly not about the money. It's not about any of that. It's about my way of saying thank you and being able to be impactful for our community.
Well, and helping other people do as you have done, or and get rid of some of the stupidity that's out there and all of that.
And I think an elected official should be looking for solutions, not just doling out money. They should
thank you
find and be respectful of the taxpayers' money, because that's what they are. They're stewards and fiscal officers of the taxpayers' money. So why
how often we forget that though?
Why just dole out money? The legislator should be thinking of ways to fix problems.
Yeah.
So, I've been fortunate to get around the Jackson, Lawrence, and Galia, the district of Ohio 93. There's some great, wonderful people out there. Yeah. And just the stories that they're telling and what they need, it just makes me want to get out there and just fix them today. Of course, I can't do that. But these are solvable problems. I mean, it's not nuclear science, which, of course, we have a plant down there in Piketon, but that's not what this is. Some of the problem fixing is pretty fundamental. And I've always been a big believer, there's concern about taxes and education and all that. You know how you solve that is bring in more businesses. Because let's say we bring a business that has 100 people, and let's just say for sake of argument, it's a $100 million payroll. I don't know how much it would be, but let's just say that. Some people say the net effect of that is 7 to 10 times. So you're looking almost $1 billion back into our community if we brought 100 people in, which, they'll be at your restaurant, they'll be using my services, they'll be going to the veterinarian clinic, to the banks, the Walmart. And I think that solves a lot of problems because you spread the tax base across a bigger number of people. And it gives fulfillment and people jobs. And that's what we talked about, how important that is.
Why does that seem so simple? Why does everybody make it so hard?
You're absolutely right. And it really shouldn't be that hard. I think we get caught up in minutia and, less so at the state, but, sometimes we just draw lines because that's what the other person wants, so we're going to come over here. I think we just need to figure out ways to make things work.
Well, and and going back with some of the things that you said earlier with the drug problem, whatever, we had a wonderful outfit that was in, was that Friday? They were in, out of Athens, that they do recovery services. And so we were talking with them, and it was funny. There were there were three of them, but two of them right off the rip mentioned empathy. And you just mentioned empathy, and that is like the word that I like dwell on so much, because if people in Washington or, state legislators or anybody had more empathy, the world would be a much better place.
Yes.
Because we're all selfish by nature, I think, and a little bit as humans. And if we could be more empathetic toward your fellow man, the world would be much better.
I absolutely agree. And that's part of the problem that we have with elected officials, that they're longtime politicians, so they're out of touch.
Yes.
And why wouldn't they be? They don't live this every day. And,
Right.
The better ones are probably out, meeting their people. When I lost the congressional race, I become close to Dave Taylor, who did win. He's our congressman. Wonderful person, but he came from a business background. He knows what it's like to make payroll, and that's what we need from our legislators, because then you're going to be more responsible for the money. You're going to try to find solutions, and
You get it.
and you're going to be empathetic to your employees. That I have to call in sick because my kid is sick and I don't have daycare. Well, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And
I've been there and done that. Yeah.
yes, exactly. We all have, and it's just. We do need more empathy in the world, quite frankly, but
For sure.
certainly in politics.
World peace.
Peace.
Let's strive for that.
Yes.
With empathy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you will be running. Let's just get it out there. You are running for state representative.
Right.
And you will be running here in the primary, which is coming. I can't believe it. It's May.
May 5th. So right around the corner. Early voting starts about a month before that. So we're looking at April before
So
a lot of this happens.
a month and a half from now, here you are.
I know.
So what are the because I think our current representative is Jason Stevens, if I remember properly, and he's from down
Lawrence County.
in Lawrence County, down that way, down south.
Yeah, down south. Southern boy.
But so you will be running against him in the primary, and I don't know who else is. Are there others running?
Not in the Republican.
No, so
It
just you
says two.
and Jason
Yeah.
Stevens. Okay. So what, number one, you've lost your mind, but I appreciate why. I think you're running for the right reasons.
Thank you.
And I think that you're doing what you're doing for the right reasons. But, what do you hope to achieve? Like, what would be your main goal if elected?
Well, it's similar to the same things I wanted to do in Congress, but
Okay.
just at a smaller level because there's 3 counties versus 16.
Sure.
First, I want to protect the small business community.
Okay.
Because I think they truly are the catalyst. I'm such a big about employment, and we talked about you get somebody a job, you change their life.
For sure.
And the small business people can do that. The second is recovery and addiction issues.
Okay.
I'm a big person and I still serve on the One Ohio board, that this is going to be a long-term play. Recovery is important because it saves lives today, but if we can work on prevention,
Yep.
we're going to try to eliminate this problem. But that's going to be generational. And we
Yes.
need to find programs that work for that while helping to save the lives today. And then the third is help people in the district. We are one of the most impoverished districts in the state. And if we can bring in some things that bring in more economics, more businesses into the area, I think it would benefit us in all 3 counties. And we all are ripe to just boom. Ohio's on the verge of just blossoming. And I want to be part of that conversation. And unfortunately, the current representative, and I'm not trying to go negative here, but given the way he was Speaker of the House, but he had more from the other party vote for him than his current party. And there's nothing illegal about that. But at the end of the day, the folks won't work with him. So he is going to be completely ineffective over the next 2 years before
Okay.
he turns out. And I think our district deserves better than not being able to get anything done. And our state does too. So I'm hoping that, we can bring the message out or take the message out to the people and say, look, we're here to help. Let's sit down and talk about the issues that are bothering you and what we need to work on and how we're going to find the solution, because certainly I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to sit down and help come up with the answers.
Sure.
Because generally the people are the ones that know the answers.
Yeah.
They do. I mean,
Isn't
because they live it every day. Well, gosh, if they only did this, we would have everything solved.
Yeah.
So
It is funny. I mean, we talk about it here. Our viewers have the best questions, or
Yes, they do.
the staff, your staff members have the best suggestions because they're living it daily.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm excited about the campaign. I think we're meeting a lot of great people. Again, I like Jason Stevens. I like his wife, Julie Stevens. They're great people, but I think it's just time for a change.
Yeah.
And it's time to being able to move in the right direction. And I hope to be part of that conversation.
Okay. I mean, I think that sounds amazing, and I love the fact that you're approachable and willing to have these conversations,
Yeah,
and
thank
that you spent your time here this morning and you didn't have to do that.
Well, I appreciate you having me. This is wonderful.
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot of fun, and if we could get more people, more politicians, let's just be honest with you, to sit down and have these conversations, it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And to listen.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And the struggle is real with the small business thing. You're right. You have to be scrappy, and you have to be all the things.
You do. You do.
And if you
we,
come from
we are
that-
such a disadvantage. I serve on the Small Business Council for the U.S. Chamber. And we go to Capitol Hill every year to talk to the legislators. And I think about this, and, as a legislator, you don't know everything. You really
Sure.
don't. So they need to be informed about, okay, the tax credits and, the regulations and all this. And it really, having a business person could be refreshing for the business community, I think.
It could be, and let's just be honest. There is part of Ohio that's east of Cincinnati and south of I-70. There's a lot of people that don't know we exist,
I know.
and it's frustrating.
Yes.
And it's really nice to know that there would be some, that there's people out there fighting for us. The 3 C's get all the attention,
They
and
do.
we get nothing.
Yes. And because of my relationship with Jobs Ohio, I'm hopeful I can work with JP Nassif, who is the CEO, and try to move some of those businesses to our area. Now, at the end of the day, the businesses are going to make their own decisions.
Sure.
But we can set ourselves up to be extremely attractive for businesses to come into the area.
Tell me, okay, as what you do, what do you say to people? What is our workforce like? What makes our workforce special down here?
Well, first, they're hard workers because they have to be, because we're scrappy people.
Because we're scrappy.
If you grow up in Appalachia, things aren't handed to you. You have to earn it. You just do. Now, I'm not saying that it's not necessarily true in part of the 3 C's. Maybe that's true in some areas, but they have a lot more resources than we do.
Sure.
We don't have the big museums to go to, or the plays, or baseball game, professional baseball games, or whatever. We are not exposed to as much. So, we have to work. I think we have to work harder. So, I don't know if that answered your question.
No,
but,
I think no, and that's exactly. I mean, we just had our cheerleaders come back, and I asked them what makes you all so special and intimidating, because our cheerleaders show up in a national competition and people are terrified of them, as they should be, and they all said the same thing, because we have to work twice as hard, because we don't have fancy gyms, and we don't have all this stuff. And you think about our kids and the athletes and our workforce, that they have to try double hard.
Yes, they do.
And we are scrappy.
And we do
here.
have a good workforce here. We have a lot of people, a lot of people that grew up generations working good, hard jobs. And, manufacturing facilities and coal mines, and that's not easy work.
No.
It's not just clocking it in and going home.
No.
It's hard. Speaking of the competition, it's funny. I just want to mention this real quickly. My sister's kids were down there at the same time, and they also placed.
Oh,
and she said it
awesome.
was funny because she saw a Jackson shirt, and she turns around and she says, "Oh my gosh!" Well, I guess they got. Did Jackson get fourth?
Second.
Second. Okay,
Yeah.
they got fourth then.
Okay.
In Franklin, it was Franklin, Tennessee, and so it was. I guess it's a small world, but it was kind of cool.
That is wild.
Yeah, that was funny. So.
Well, now you can say, well, our cheerleaders are better than your
Our
cheerleaders.
cheerleaders.
I love that.
It was funny.
No, that is a small world. Very strange.
Yeah,
very
they
strange.
saw them in Orlando. It's very cool.
Cool deal. Well, Larry, thank you so much for stopping in and spending your morning with us. And I've learned a lot about what you do and also about, your thoughts in running for public office. And we appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Of course.
it. Thanks,
Yes,
Good to see you.
absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, our good friend Pete Wilson is in the studio, so we have a couple of messages to play, and then we will be back in just a moment.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
All right, and we are back with Pete Wilson and the news.
Okay, we're gonna run down some kind of like public service situations that involve our communities. In case you didn't know, we are under a level 1 snow advisory in both Jackson County and Vinton County.
Some black ice out there, right?
If you're getting up and just looking out the windows and wondering what's going on, that's exactly what it is. I noticed that when I got up very early this morning.
Our parking lot has it, yeah.
Right, a thin coat of ice, but it's like a skating rink,
It looks like the problem with the black ice is it looks like it's wet and it's not. It's ice, and
it
you
is.
just next thing you know you're on your butt.
Right, so you need to be very careful when you go out
Please.
there. It's supposed to, it's going to be above freezing today, but still right now it's a little dangerous, and that's why, the sheriffs in both of our counties did a level 1, and that is in effect now. In the city of Wellston now, there is a citywide boil order, so folks, if you haven't got the notifications on that, a major water line break reported yesterday morning on 13th Street. That's on the south side, and that led to the boil order being announced later in the day. And so that will likely be in effect at least throughout the day, probably till sometime tomorrow, the way it works. But that is a citywide boil order in Wellston. This is all passed now, but some folks who are served by Buckeye Rural Electric, and this corridor was basically along US Route 35 and stretching out from that a little bit. Outside of Jackson, maybe 5 miles, almost all the way to the county line, about 500 plus customers out for a short time.
Mine just went off and came right back on this morning.
There's lots of folks who were reporting it was off for just a little bit, but Buckeye Rural
Enough
did not
to be a
report
pain
until,
in the butt.
Oh yes, it is. You don't expect that to come. I do not know what the cause was, but it was a pretty good cluster out there along US Route 35 and off US Route 35. North and west of Jackson, but it's all right now.
Okay. Good
Okay,
deal.
and today, if you didn't know, it is President's Day.
It is.
And that means that most governmental offices are closed. If you're thinking of county and municipal, basically everybody is closed except the city of Wellston. The city of Wellston is open. On the school side, the Jackson City Schools and the Buckeye Hills Career Center High School are both closed. Everybody else is open they would have been closed, but they're doing makeup days
Yep,
because of all the missed days due to the winter weather. This is one of the makeup days. So Wellston, Oak Hill, Vinton County are all in session today. They wouldn't have been, but they are because of the makeup days.
Okay.
And we have had, just locally speaking of President's Day, we have had a number of presidents actually visit Jackson County.
Yeah?
But there is only one, and if Bob Urban or somebody or Mike Stroth or somebody wants to dispute me, just call in and give me hell. But I believe there's only one sitting president that has ever been in Jackson County, and that would be William Howard Taft.
Yep.
There were others who were here, but they weren't president at the time.
Yes.
It was before they were president or campaigning or afterwards. But William Howard Taft was here in 1912 when he was running for re-election. And Teddy Roosevelt, who decided he wanted to be president again, was here. They were here within a 2-week period, and they both campaigned in Jackson. Wasn't that cool? And neither one of them won. They were both. One was Taft was a Republican. Roosevelt was a Republican who ran on the Bull Moose Party.
Yep,
And because
I
of
forgot
that,
about that.
A Wilson got elected president.
Yep.
Woodrow Wilson, the Democrat, got elected in 1912. He didn't come to Jackson County, but he got elected because of that split vote. Okay, we'll go to the regular news now. We do have some follow-up from the United States Marshal Service trip to Jackson County.
Okay, because that had a lot of Facebook buzz.
A lot of Facebook buzz, and I talked with the United States Marshal Service this morning, and we'll be writing this up and getting it online. Of course, it'll be in Wednesday's paper. They did not make an arrest in Jackson County. We knew that. Ted Frazier told us that. United States Marshal Service, I contacted them late Friday afternoon. I got the man who had the information, but he didn't have it then. He would have to go get it. And so I got it this morning, but what happened was they went to a residence in Wellston. They actually had 2 residents in Wellston where they thought their suspect was. He was not there. It wasn't they went to the wrong place. He just wasn't there.
Bad luck.
They did some investigation and found the suspect in Lawrence County working on a roof in Chesapeake. I mean, he was just away from his house that day in Wellston, or
Gotcha.
where he was at least staying, they think. And he was working, on a job. But the gentleman who was arrested was Toby Jason Buska, age 47. They think that he was actually living in Wellston. He was just away. There was a lot of play on the video of where you saw 2 men being detained. Well, when the Marshal Service and their local partners got there, they thought they were in the right place, and so they thought that one or both of those men were at least persons of interest or whatever.
Sure.
It turned out that neither one of them was the man they wanted, and they figured that out pretty quick, so they were not arrested. So the Marshal Service, bottom line, thinks they went to the right place. It's just the person wasn't there. They did some investigation. They tied Mr. Buska to the vehicle he was driving in. They found out where the vehicle was, and they found him there in Chesapeake working on a job on a roof, doing roofing work.
Did they say what he was wanted for?
He was wanted in 4 different counties for different things.
Oh, my.
The main reason they were after him was charges in Lake County, which of course is up on Lake Erie. Aggravated robbery, aggravated burglary, impersonating a police officer, and kidnapping.
Oh,
is
my.
what he was wanted for. In Jackson County, he was also wanted for possession of drugs or cocaine. In Ross County, he was wanted for possession of drugs and DUI. In Cuyahoga County, he was wanted for possession of drugs.
Okay.
So the Cleveland group
He
of
gets around.
Yes, the Cleveland group of the United States Marshal Service was the reason they were looking for him, but there were these other warrants out from other counties as well. So he was taken into custody. The gentleman that I talked to from the United States Marshal Service wasn't sure where he was going to go because of the multiple jurisdictions involved, but the major charges are out of Lake County. There was no trouble when they arrested him because, when you're up on a roof, you're kind of stuck, aren't you?
Yeah, they don't know anywhere to go.
So anyway, that is the main points of what happened on Friday. I know a lot of folks saw the United States Marshal Service and community partners, who they called the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the Wellston Police Department. They didn't have direct knowledge of what was going on. They were just there to help because it was in their area. They were seen at different places, like a couple gas stations. They were even maybe staged in a parking lot here in Jackson. That was just gathering and organizing. There was nothing going on there.
Right.
They were just getting ready,
Sure.
kind of. So let's go to a piece of good news now. History was made, athletic history was made on Friday evening over Chillicothe when the Jackson Ironmen defeated the Chillicothe Cavaliers. The score was 48-42, and that was a
close
big
one.
win. That made Jackson 17-3. It gave them second place in the Frontier Athletic Conference because they and Chillicothe were virtually tied going into that game. It also put Jackson in a better position for the tournament because both Jackson and Chillicothe are in the same division and they're going to be playing in the same tournament.
Sure.
And whoever won would probably have the higher seed and have maybe a more favorable draw in the tournament. And that did, in fact, happen. But here is the big story why I'm telling you all this.
Okay.
Max Morrow, the head coach of the Jackson Ironmen, became the winningest coach in Jackson high school history.
Oh, cool.
Here was the scene after the game. There is Max holding the plaque. The man on the left in the Jackson Ironmen ball cap is none other than his father, a very proud Dan Morrow, who had the honor of calling the game on WKOV radio. There in the foreground is number 4, Ryan Simets. He is the captain of the Jackson Ironmen. All the Ironmen are standing behind him. This was the presentation after the game. Max.
That's awesome.
Max, I know to us, we're older, so we think he's young, and he is, but he is already the winningest coach, 154 victories in this, his 11th season. He eclipsed, that is another scene where Ryan Simons had just ready to give him the plaque, and they had an embrace there with Dan looking on. And you see the players very happy about it. It was a very memorable moment because Jackson won a very exciting game that went back and forth, and Jackson was able to pull it out at the end on the Chillicothe home floor. But Max has won 154 games in his 11 seasons, and he eclipsed the 153 victories of the late Dave Fisher. Dave Fisher coached them 1959 through 1971, and so that is a record that has stood for 54 years. So that was pretty significant. So congratulations for Max. The Ironmen have 2 more regular season games this week, and then they will play in the tournament, as we alluded to, the next week. They will host a game on Tuesday the 24th against Hillsborough.
Okay.
And then we'll see what happens there. They may end up playing Chillicothe again in the next game of the tournament if the Cavaliers can win their first game in the tournament. So anyway, we've already got a Facebook post out on that. We've had it on the radio. We'll have a real nice report in Wednesday's paper. We got a statement from Max, and let me tell you what, he wrote an outstanding statement, and he never said anything about him, the thrill of his accomplishment or what he did to win the accomplishment, how hard he worked and all that, because we know he did. It was all about the people who enabled him to do it. Just very class. So
Love that.
So look for that coming up in an edition of the Telegram.
Fun fact.
Yes.
Max and I share a birthday.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
Okay.
We were born on the same day.
Born
well, a couple of years apart.
Got a couple of years apart, right.
Same day, though.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. But anyway, a lot of activity at La Rosa's Pizzeria here in Jackson.
Yeah, that was a whole Facebook thing, too.
Right. Well, we got the information. That night and the next morning from La Rosa's people in the fire department. This is I applaud Red Thompson Jr. He had already covered a ball game, but he went out late that night when he heard the fire trucks and found them there at La Rosa's. There was multiple fire departments there. Jackson received mutual aid from, I think it was from Bloomfield, Liberty Township, and Wellston. They had a great turnout there. As it turned out, there was no fire if you're thinking flames, but you're talking about an eatery and you have some smoke, you have a burning scent there.
Yep.
What happened was there was a HVAC unit in the basement that malfunctioned. It vented smoke into the 2 restrooms and into the lobby area.
Yep.
As I said, there was no real fire. Of course, everybody who was there, because the business hours were still going on. This was at 9:44 p.m. on a Friday night, so you know that there was still business going on at the restaurant.
On Valentine's Day weekend, by
on
the way.
On Valentine's Day weekend. Everybody evacuated, and everybody was safe, no trouble. No real damage, according to the fire department. Fire Chief Kyle Hickey, always real responsive, getting information to me because we want to get what we know is accurate information out as soon as possible. Probably damage to that HVAC unit, but even then there was no fire in the basement either, from what I understand.
Okay.
That's
good news.
Tyler Goldberg, who is the general manager of La Rosa's, posted, thanked the fire department for their efforts, and also the staff and all the patrons who cooperated quickly and got out calmly and all like that. And they opened the very next day at the regular time. So, that turned out to be, a good thing. One other fire that occurred this weekend, and it just seems like they happen in groups sometimes for these fire departments. There was a garage fire on Dixon Street, 101 Dickinson. That's just off South Street. But there is a building there that's got 3 apartments, and there's an attached garage on the one apartment that was affected. It was the residence of Margaret Floyd. But anyway, a wall there caught on fire. It ignited from a fire or heat from an ashtray, apparently. The fire department got there. They had some help from other departments, too. They were able to get that fire out. Actually, a resident who was there was able to use a fire extinguisher to basically handle the job, but then they came right behind and made sure everything was safe. But that happened also on Friday at 4:28 p.m. So the firefighters had about a couple hours off, and then they were off to La Rosa's. Okay, let's see. We're running out of time. Let's see if there's anything else timely that I need to tell you real quickly here. I believe we may have covered it. Oh, yes. I want to tell you about the girls' tournament games. The boys start next week, as I said, but the girls start this week, and 3 of our local teams play tonight.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay.
Total Media, Jackson County Broadcasting will all have it on the radio. No streaming, but everything will be on the radio live, of course. The Jackson Iron Ladies play tonight at Fairfield Union. You know where that is? That's you go to Lancaster, hang a right, and you go another few miles. It's in the eastern part of Fairfield County. So it's a long trip for our Iron Ladies, but they play Fairfield Union. That's at 7 o'clock on WKOV 96.7 FM. The Vinton County Lady Vikings will travel to Gallia Academy for their tournament game. That's 7 p.m. on WYRO 98.7 FM. And those are both in Division 4, by the way. In Division 5, the Wellston Lady Golden Rockets will go to Meigs to play the Meigs Lady Marauders. That'll be on YPC 1330 AM and 105.3 FM. Once again, 7 p.m. tip-off. Our crews will be there to cover the games on the radio live, and the Telegram's going to spread ourselves out the best as possible to get coverage of all 3 tournament games and then get it in the paper and online as quickly as possible. So you ask about Oak Hill. The Oak Hill Lady Oaks don't play until Wednesday. They will go to Eastern Brown for their first round tournament game, and that game, of course, will be on the radio as well, WCGO 97.7 FM. Two school board meetings tonight. The Wellston Board of Education meets at 6 p.m. at the administration office on 1 East Broadway. I'm telling you about that because normally they meet on the second Monday. This time it's the third Monday. And the Vinton County Local Board of Education is meeting on a new date this year. They're meeting on the third Monday of each month, or either the second or third Monday of each month. But this week it is on the third Monday. So they meet tonight at the district office on West High Street in MacArthur. That meeting will start at 6:30, and we will be everywhere. Jeremiah will be at Wellston. Red will be at Vinton County. Then Red's got to somehow cover the ball game too. So, we'll have to buzz him this afternoon and make sure he wakes up in time.
That's right. You got it. Well, Pete, thank you so much. That's a lot to report.
Right, and we've got other things to tell you about, and we'll tell you about the ball games tomorrow, how they turned out, and some other news that we couldn't get to because we had this other stuff that I just spewed.
That sounds good.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you to Larry Kidd for stopping by today as well. That was a lot of fun talking with him. And we will be right back here tomorrow. So have a great day, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.